guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for the breakdown of Shadow's House Season 2. If you were following my channel for quite some time, you know whilst Season 1 was airing, I was non-stop praising this anime. Even in my other videos, I was slipping in just praises after praises for this anime. I didn't break down Season 1. I ended up realising it was godly and I had just had too much going on. So this season is different. I am dedicating breakdowns for this anime because I love this anime. There's so much good stuff and I really need somewhere to outlet, discuss how I feel, and hopefully you guys too will just be able to hype with me as we talk about every single episode that goes on. Hello, welcome on Clockwork Noodles. I break down seasonal animes on the channel. If you're not subscribed already, go and give the button a bit of love because we are aiming to hit 1k of subscribers by the end of the year to start doing more interactive stuff, more mainstream stuff, talk about things that have been and gone. Because I talk about seasonal stuff, it doesn't mean I get to cover the old stuff very much. Please give this channel some love, it really means a lot to me. Let's get going with episode 1 of season 2. I am so excited that I'm breaking this down with you guys. One of the biggest things I really do praise this anime for, it's the atmosphere. The absolute atmosphere, even in the first scene when we've got Barbara literally kicking ass. My goodness, that girl can move. I know these guys have their different abilities and they're eclectic. Wasn't expecting her to pull out moves like that, and it's just a really nice surprise. But the atmosphere already, when we've got the soot, we have a great welcome back to the house where we've got a creepy invader. We don't know who it is because they just vanish out of nowhere. No one is harmed. They haven't made another appearance or anything. But all we really know is that they're very tall. Naturally, the only person I know who is really tall so far is Edward, but don't think it's Edward. I don't think they're going to reuse the same villain. Plus, Edward's licking his wounds right now. He's already been shamed by what happened and the grandfather's angry at him. So it means we've got a unidentified person walking around the kids' ward, which is even more terrifying if you consider that. And we know that nobody is allowed in the kids' ward. Edward is the warden of the kids' ward, so he's in charge, but I don't even think he's allowed in there because there was a lot of kerfuffle last season with him going in there. That was a big deal. So he's not even allowed in there. There's this very big thing where they're trying to keep everybody separate. The adults are separate because they know what's going on. The kids are meant to be kept naive and on their own until they are indoctrinated into this big giant magnificent cult of the grandfather. It's just, I love this anime. It's just so much going on. It all interlays in one another. I really can't wait for next week when we also get to see the OPs and EDs, because last season's OPs, EDs, they were the reverse of each other, the mirror, and that's the whole thing that's going on. It's this mirroring going on of these are the faces, these are the shadows, I am a mirror of you. Great things. I get to gush. I'm so happy. I get to finally gush on a dedicated video instead of invading all the other videos that were going on a channel as well. Barbara, they are both the star bearers for the kids' ward. They're in charge of looking out. Instead of having an acting adult there, they are the ones who go in and they're in charge. They keep the order, they keep the peace, they tell people what to do. They have a pretty high up role. It's almost like head of the class. They are informed by the adults or the tutors, or maybe even Edward, because I think she reports to him. Really love the fact that Emilico is also really, really polite to this intruder. We don't even know if this intruder is going to be harming anybody yet, but just in case it's a shadow, I want to call it Master Robe. I love Emilico and how positive she always is. I don't think it's Edward. I know he's tall, but being tall isn't a unique factor. We haven't seen the full cast of the adults yet, and there's probably some other tall people, and these are all kids. The fact that it was just Barbara and Barbie, they're kids still. She's pretty short. I think she's pretty short in comparison to the kids as well. It could be anybody, and they might not be just that tall. I love the constant fog that hangs over the house, so you could never really see out. It's always overblown. The sun is pouring through the fog, causing it to be very bright, so you don't know what's going on. It creates a very claustrophobic feeling inside the house, that you're stuck in this house, I can't see out. It also helps building that atmosphere because you feel very cut off, and this is a very cut off place. The Shadow's house, only the Shadows can occasionally go out to go and find new faces. No one really goes in or out, and I like the vibe that it's trying to do this, and it's just the clever use of just having fog laying down on the floor, so a bit more of a creepy feel, like why is there constant fog laying around. We this week get to go into the main house. We are being promoted. Everybody is now of age. It's very restrictive immediately. I know they're all preaching all these freedoms. You can do what you want. But Kate immediately feeling very restricted. She can't do what she wants. So if she wants to sit and read, you've got to be writing it down. So if you just sit there and do nothing, you're seen as not being helpful. So if she just wants to do what she wants, it's a bad thing. And she knows that's going to be working against her. I did also forget that some of them were still under the influence of the soot, the brainwashings. limits the amount of people who Kate can talk to. And I like the fact that it feels very trapped this week. It's like the fog outside, everything feels trapped. Kate is the only one who fully knows what's going on, and she doesn't like what's going on, and she wants to fight the grandfather. But this is going to be near impossible if she doesn't do something very clever and have more people on her side. Shadow's house has pretty much been like this, presumably for generation after generation. The grandfather must be old. Presumably he's old and wise. They're used to this. They are dealing with the people. Anybody who's not cut to shape gets turned into a veiled doll, or they get erased. It's going to be very scary to see what she can do to even make any moves or make a dent, or just try and overturn anything. John's crush on Kate is actually very helpful this week, which is very interesting. And just a cool note as well, which I mentioned last time in the Two Eternity videos. The voice actor for Patrick is Fushi from To Your Eternity. He was pretty much new to voice acting when he took both those roles on. Seeing him as Patrick and also as Fushi, because now Fushi talks finally, fantastic. It was really great to see him flourishing as a voice actor in two very different roles, but some amazing roles nonetheless. And I can't wait to see how Patrick's going to do in this season, because right now he's feeling pretty down because he's not been selected with the top kids because he can't control his soot powers. So he is being left out, and I think it's getting to him because he was a very pompous, very overconfident character, and now he's had this massive blow to his ego. We do get a new character this week, a new star bearer as well, is Susanna. I don't like the creepy long gloves up to the top of the dress. I don't know why I don't like it. There's something really creepy about it, and I don't like it that even with her face, really got those eyes that really pierce through. There's just something a little bit uneasy about her. And then there's the patting as well, the in your face patting you. I don't like people who invade space like that, so to me that's very, very uneasy as a thing. Emiliko's face though being the wrong when she was just having a fluffy moment because she's enjoying seeing Kate getting hugged, but that's not how Kate's feeling, and I like this because she scolds her for having the wrong face, and that's just Emiliko all over. Soot. All around the first season and the second as well, we're going to be seeing this idea of soot. The shadows emit soot, they need to collect soot as well, so they use it as energy. But it seems to be this never-ending cycle that also has these huge negatives, because too much soot becomes a bad thing. It becomes these scorches as well, which becomes bad. There must be something to it, and I am wondering, because the grandfather is looking for people who can control their soot, so he's looking for the most immaculate, and I don't know whether this is because he's trying to build an army or the people all around him are powerful so he can use them, keep this charade going on of this house thing. Just going to be very interesting to see why certain shadows can produce more than others, and we are told that Barbara is producing 60%. That's insane. What leads to certain ones producing more than others? And it looks really painful on Barbara. Soot is also used to control people. It's used to control the faces as well and indoctrinate them. Kate's powers, and I know it may have been an accident, her dropping the pen on the floor, but I also feel like as well she might have done that on purpose because she doesn't want them to see how powerful she is just yet. I think she's trying to gauge everything, and it does get very, very hairy this week as well, because using that decoy to start fighting with John but actually pass the message to him, it comes crashing down, but she does manage to play it off quite coolly as I'm testing you, I'm sorry, I'm the insolent one, and just trying to stay humble as well, brushing the ego of Susanna, saying, I just wanted to see how your powers worked kind of thing. This next chunk, it builds atmosphere very, very nicely because it all becomes very uneasy. We see Emiliko feeling on edge in the room. She's told to eat something, and then we've got creepy Susanna's face, just those eyes, there's something about it, and she tells her to stay there, sit down, stay where you are, and it feels quite controlling as well. The music also picks up as well when we have Susanna noticing that there's been a message passed. And the music isn't barely there in this anime. It's only used for effect. When the message is picked up, that's when you start getting some really long, eerie chords that make you feel a little bit on the edge, because this is it, we're building tension, you've just been caught doing something. But it's all about timings, which is why I love this anime. It's precise, purposefully chooses exactly when to drop one scene and jump to another. We don't get to find out what's inside the letter immediately because we suddenly cut to Emiliko dropping a plate on the floor, breaking that silence, breaking that tension that's starting to really build up. They choose their scenes with purpose. Every single cut is chosen intentionally. More and more on edge as well, because our two are separate. Emilico and Kate are not together, and that means we have one less ally in the room, and they're facing whatever situations they end up getting into. And that makes things even more nerve-wracking. But that is when our scene is cut short after Kate smooths things out finally, and that's when we get the very quite scary event that Barbara is emitting a lot of soot. It's very, very painful, and we've got Barbie going in there with her trying to calm her down, but it looks really painful. That worries me, because is it a possibility that producing too much is actually going to destroy a shadow? Is it possible that they can produce so much that it ends up enveloping them or something? The idea of soot, I would love to know more about, but it definitely seems to be that ruling factor in this world. In some animes, you've got like magic powering systems and things. In this, it's all about soot. Starbearers, what do they really actually stand for? Because we're told that Susanna is also a starbearer. Was she once upon a time head of the kids ward, a starbearer of the kids ward, and then she graduated and now she's become a starbearer in the main house? What roles do they have once they're in the main house? The little segment right at the end after the credits stop rolling, when we see Barbie coming in and being happy about being chosen as a face, noticing that her face is completely different. Her persona is very different from the Barbie we know. She's now got these shark teeth. She's now got a very 180 on this persona. She's not happy and bubbly like she looks and welcoming when we first see her in this little segment. What actually happens? What has changed? Why has she changed? Is seeing Barbara in pain hurting her, causing her to become harder? Really does kick butt. But I can't imagine the young girl we see initially going up to her happily announcing she's her face can initially do that. She's become quite a hardened character. It's going to be interesting to focus in on her character this season. I have a feeling as well she's very important because she is in the main poster. So this is going to be Barbara's arc, maybe. We're going to follow her and work out what it really truly means to be that, and what made her like happy and then suddenly into this more stoic character who is quite bossy and commanding in her own sense. The OP being by Rena, even though it's technically a ED this week, I can't wait to see the actual OP for it, and I can't wait to break that down. But again, we have to wait for the second episode to get that in position. Hopefully as well, we've got a really good ED lined up. I like it. It is called Shall We Dance. It works perfectly. I like it as an OP. I can't wait to see what the ED is, but it's got a very different feel from last season. It's the same person who did the OP as well for it. I think it was Ina. I can't even remember what it was called, but it was such a good song. I loved it. I think it even won top OP of the season, and I'm pretty sure I gave it to Shadow's House because that's when I started gushing about Shadow's House. So if you actually want to go and see what I was saying about it, if you go and check out the top EP, OP and ED video from that season, you will definitely see me gushing all over it because I really love the way that they constructed them, and I can't wait for the next episode to see how they constructed these two as well. Fantastic video. Very excited for next week. I can't wait to see what mysteries we end up tripping over. What about this mysterious intruder? That's really unnerving though, and there's somebody in the kids ward who really shouldn't be there, and I don't like that. That makes you feel even more on edge. There's a lot going on, and this story is fantastic. There's so much going on, and there's lots to look out, lots of very clever details hidden in the plot as well. Very excited to see where we go this season, guys. Thank you guys so much for letting me spew and randomly chat and bend your ear about Shadow's House. I love it to pieces. Thank you so much. I hope you are having a good weekend, guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day. Bye bye.